Good evening everyone and welcome back here live for round 5 of the WCS League Formula 3 Championship, and it's great to see you all here again today, and I welcome you along to the German Grand Prix, the West German Grand Prix, held here at the Nurburgring for what will surely be two races I should say, of absolutely exciting action, where after today's races we'll be seeing the midpoint of the season, so we're certainly rifling through it very quickly early on. We're getting through these rounds very quickly, but such has been the excitement. Each round has been a pleasure to come and see, and certainly races to look forward to, and I'm sure we're going to have that once again today. I'm your commentary host, Sam Jones, and alongside me in the commentary booth is Joshua Anderson. Welcome, Josh.
Why, hello there.
Yes, good evening. So, after quite an exciting round last time out, we've certainly seen the Drivers' Championship close up a bit with Lars Brugman only 11 points behind Sven de Vries now, and Sven has returned to the field today here for the Formula 3 League, so it should be an exciting one, Josh, and Sven will surely be wanting to add more points to his list, especially since Brugman doesn't appear to be here at the moment.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Lars isn't here, Sven is. That's really going to benefit the American here in the championship standings, and he'll probably be hoping that he's going to pull out all of the stops here at the Nurburgring to get as much of a gap as he can over Brugman.
Yeah, absolutely, and well, right now he's probably struggling a little bit. He's all the way down in 4th place in this qualifying session. We've got about 1 minute 20 seconds to go, and a lot of the drivers are now coming out of the pits since their final laps here. It's about 1 minute 50 the lap times that we're seeing, so certainly now is every driver's final lap when they go across the start-finish line. Sven de Vries has just moved up to 10th place, but Jone Simoncic is leading this field by about 0.2 of a second with a 150.25, and he crosses the line once again. Doesn't tip it, but starts another flying lap, and this will be his final lap as Boher Milan, the closest guy to him, actually goes back to the pit, so that's him done with qualifying, and we'll have to see if someone with the likes of Olsen, Muscat, Hoekstra, or perhaps someone even further back can challenge Simoncic for the pole today.
Yeah, Jone Simoncic is on a really good position to get a pole here, and with this being such a long track as well, a 1 minute 50 lap, this is not short by any means of the imagination. You know, when it comes to the race, pole position is going to be arguably more important than ever, because it means less laps in the race, and that means a shorter window for pit strategy. Yeah,
we haven't seen too many Grand Prix tracks on this calendar all the time, so this is certainly a long one for the drivers, and right now a lot of them are still pounding around this racetrack. We've got 19 cars qualifying today, and about 14 or 15 of them are currently on track. As I see Simoncic really getting the back end out, coming around turn 7 there. So probably not the best way to take that, and he might not improve on his lap time, but that gives Olsen a chance, but not Muscat though. Muscat's also going back to the pit, so he's 4th at the moment with a 150.0, and he won't be improving, and we'll have to see if he can stay there.
Yeah, he's going to have to hope that in P4 is Muscat and Sim with Milan in P2. He's going to have to hope Olsen does not overtake him here in the standings, and Olsen only really a tenth behind, so there is scope for him to do that. If he manages to get enough time, at the same time he can overtake Simoncic, but it's going to need a bit more from the speed. But that said, he is up in P3, and he does look like he's on a good lap this lap, though I don't have time to say, and you will, Sam, because you'll know exactly how quick he's going.
Yeah, he's done a decent middle sector as he comes up to the start-finish line now, crosses the line, and Jone Simoncic does a 150.1, so he extends his gap between himself and Milan to 0.4 of a second. A monstrous lap by Simoncic, and I think he could have potentially gone quicker, if I'm honest. We'll have to see now whether anyone else can challenge. Olsen's still out there in Sector 2 at the moment. He's done a good Sector 1, and he's coming up towards the final chicane as well, so Olsen's got a bit of traffic as well. That's really going to play into this, and we'll have to see if he can just hold it all together and get some kind of decent lap time into maybe move up to second. Oh no, he's pitted.
No, he's come in. Yeah, he's decided it's not going to be for him, so not going to complete that lap to be a Olsen. So really, it's only Matt Richards now, but he's just coming out of the pits.
Yeah, I think actually just completed a lap. He's moved up into fourth. He's done a 51.0, same as Muscat, but about 2/200ths of a second quicker, I should say. So good effort by Ritz right at the end there to get second row on the grid, and that actually completes the qualifying session right there. So Jurne Simičić takes pole position here at the Nurburgring in round 5 of the championship, and well, a lap time like that, 4 tenths quicker than the rest of the field. And the top 5 are separated by a second as well, so a little bit more spread out today. Perhaps that's due to the long nature of the track.
Yeah, longer tracks always got bigger gaps between the field. I mean, you'll look down at the likes of Jacob Pegg, 2.7 down in 18th place. So they will bring out bigger gaps compared to shorter ones because there's more scope for things to go wrong. But yeah, great lap from Simic to get pole, and again with the shorter pit window, it could be crucial.
Yeah, it certainly could be. It's really going to be a little bit different today, I have a feeling. So just looking down the field as well, Hoekstra, who's currently third in the championship, he managed to qualify in sixth place and about a second, as I said, off the pole time from Simičić. So a ways to go there. Joe Watts had a good qualifying session in seventh as well, and De Vries, our championship leader, all the way down in 10th place, a full 1.5 seconds off the pole time as well. So a little bit of a struggle for him, but maybe he's just not got much practice in, and he might turn it up once we go racing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Sometimes a race scenario can bring the best out of some of the drivers, and I'm sure Matt Richards in this race scenario will thrive for one. I know for certain he's definitely very good in the race, Matt. So got to keep an eye on him and that Dracoff, sure. And of course, we know Jenny Simic, master of tire conservation in this series as well. So he'll definitely want to keep an eye out for the race. But again, some of the other drivers, the likes of Rob Mason, they could really thrive in the race. You know, sometimes qualifying's not for everyone.
No, there's certainly not. Rob is, like you said, Rob Mason. He's known for his consistency and reliability when it comes to the race scenario. So, yeah, I'd agree with that one that he's another guy to look out for once we get the green lights, which isn't actually far away either. It's only a 5 minute warm up today. So, once we get through these 5 minutes, we're already down to less than 4 minutes already. So, once we get through all that, we'll be going on to the race itself. So not much time to talk, Josh, but after last time out in Indianapolis, it certainly looks like maybe Simičić has got something to prove here because he's certainly not had the luck in race one so far this season. He'll surely want that to change today.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll want to get that monkey off his back for certain. He'll be thinking, I'm not that much luck in race one. I'm going to change that today. I want to go out and win it. That's the simple fact of the matter. He will want to win this race one to set himself up for race two and then go and win that as well. I'm sure he does want to double at some point in the season. He's definitely got the pace to do it, but just one race has not gone wrong, either the first or the second. So you want to have two good races here and manage to break that duck.
Yeah, I agree with you completely on that one. And so we'll just have a quick look at the championship standings, I feel, before we get going, because otherwise we won't really have much of a chance. So Sven de Vries leads it on 120 points, and that's mainly due to the great start of the season that he had. We were picking up double wins at the British Grand Prix in rounds 1 and 2. And then getting some very good podium finishes as well after that. And he is the leader, of course, by Brugman, who's not here today, Lars Brugman, for Waters Automotive. And he is only 11 points back, but you feel that since he's not racing, it appears, then De Vries is probably going to extend that lead over him after we get through these couple of races. Hoekstra is in third place of the championship, and he's 23 points back from De Vries and 12 back from Brugman, but he's here today. He's not done too bad in qualifying either, and I think he'll be thinking about Muscat, who's also just behind him in the championship in fourth place, and 9 points separating the two, so very tight between them. Simičić, your poleman, is fifth in the championship on 85 points, and he'll be looking to leapfrog a couple of drivers and at least get into the top three by the end of today, which is certainly not out of question. Tobias Olsen, who's had a great season so far for Ice Cold, is in sixth, with Masai Mlinek in seventh for Hawkeye Racing, who's also had a couple of strong showings, but another guy that I've noticed isn't here today, but I know in a couple of previous rounds he's actually turned up for race two, so maybe we'll see him later on. Michael Francesconi from Pescara is 8th in the championship, and again another guy who's not on the grid today, so a lot of the top 10 are missing. Milan is there though, who's 9th on 52 points, and he'll certainly be looking to pick up quite a few good points and move up in the championship for Malta Force. And Eris Masciuli, the other Pescara driver, just inside the top 10, again not here, so no Pescara cars today here at all, and they'll be sorely missed, because we know what Francesconi and Masciuli have managed to do, especially at Monza with that 1-2 that he managed to achieve in race 1.
Yeah, the lack of Pescara on the grid is a bit disconcerting, because they are one of the fastest teams, and it's a surprise that they're not being here recently, especially I don't think they were here at the previous race either, to be honest. So it seemed their absences, you know, we have noticed, and they are sorely missed. But yeah, it is a shame to see that they're not here.
Yeah, perhaps it's starting to get a bit nicer now in the real world. The winter seems to be disappearing, and maybe a few people are just spending it out in the twilight and the slightly warmer weather. Although it's still pretty cold here in the UK, that's for sure.
It's still absolutely freezing. Don't worry about that.
Bet for you more than me as well. So we've come to the end of warm-up then. The clock has counted down and gone to 0. So any time now, we'll be switching over to the race. Sivicic, Milan and Olsen, they're all still out there, just getting a couple of laps. Most drivers have had about today, I think, just to get used to the car with all the fuel on board. And what are you thinking, Josh? Most guys are going to go for a stop around the halfway mark. Can you see anyone going long or short on this track?
I see Janis Simic long. That much is bizarre. We've just restarted the warm-up, actually, I just seen. And it's because the grid hasn't been set.
Ah, yes. So we would have got a bit of a topsy-turvy grid there, wouldn't we? And I don't think Simic would have been happy if he wasn't starting on pole position. Wesley Stefano claiming that he was on pole for a second there, and I'm sure that would have been a nice surprise for him. But now he'll be starting a little bit further down the grid in 8th place. So the grid's just going to be set, and whilst all that's going on, Josh, is there anyone that really you think is going to be the standout driver for today?
I would definitely keep an eye on Wupke Hoekstra. We know he's good. That's the thing about Wupke. We know he's good, and from 6th, he stands a fairly good chance of causing a shock.
Yeah, I like that idea as well. He's had some good results this season, a few spins and a few off-track excursions as well, but that's to be expected considering how difficult these cars are to drive. I'm actually interested to see what Matt Richards can do. He's often actually started from the back of the grid in some races, and when he hasn't, I've noticed he's had a bit of bad luck as well. So it'd be interesting to see what Matt Richards can do from the second row of the grid, and if he could get a good start, you never know, he could be even higher and challenging the likes of Simic and Milan on the front row.
He could be, yeah, and he is a very good shot in his own right, Matt Richards. You know, I've raced with him in touring cars before, and he is absolutely brilliant. So he's an all-rounder, really. He's just a great racer, and he could cause can get a good result.
Yeah. So it looks like now we've got the grid all sorted out, and everyone's jumping out on taking their grid spot and getting ready to do this formation lap where everyone will just get their tyres warmed up and just make sure everything's okay before we go racing. We're just waiting for Mike Quint. He's the last guy to join the grid, making everyone just wait that extra little bit longer there. So he's on the grid now, and Simic pulls away nice and slowly, gets the field going, and I'll run you through the top half before Josh takes over with the rest of the grid. So Simic takes pole once again here at Nurburgring for race 1 here in round 5. Milan is in 2nd place for Malta Force GP, and he'll certainly be looking to pick up some good points as well. Tobias Olsen, who's had a fantastic season so far, is in 3rd with Matt Richards. A great qualifying by him in 4th with Jason Muscat in 5th with the 2nd Malta Force GP car with Wupke Hoekstra CM Tech Racing lining up in 6th place alongside Muscat. Joe Watts and Wesley Stefano, the 2 EJ Engineering drivers, really had a great qualifying actually for both of them, so well done to them for blocking out row 4 on the grid, and Eric Stanford as well for Racing Team Stroton. He's had 1 or 2 good results so far this season, and a good qualifying by him today. He'll be lining up alongside no one else other than our championship leader Sven de Vries, who's starting in 10th place.
Mike Quint is going to be starting P11 there, and he is very shortly followed by Rob Mason in the Drake Racing car, the number 3 car. Then it's Christoph Lichtenstein in the 13th in the second MDR car, and then it is 14th for Chris Kinsman in the RTS number 0. Roy Brazil is 15th in the TL Blue Boss Motorsports car, and he is followed by Brett Markov in the number 78 Deltec in P16. Then it is none other than Gerrit de Vries in 17th, followed by Jacob Pig and the other satellites in 18th place. Then it is Rink Hoekstra in P19 in the second CM Tech, and rounding out the grid, surprisingly, is Jeffrey Fournier in the other Blue Boss car, in obviously 20th and last. I was surprised to see Fournier that far back though.
Yeah, I think Fournier didn't actually take part in qualifying. I didn't see him in the qualifying section, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he turned up in the warm-up after qualifying. So a latecomer, no time set, started at the back of the grid alongside his teammate, but well, it's going to be interesting to see what he could do, because I think he's got a good chance of doing something pretty special from that far back. We've seen some drivers carve their way through the field this season. It's not the easiest track to overtake on though. I struggle to see too many overtaking points apart from turn 1, maybe the NG chicane, turns 13 and 14. Apart from that, there's not too much else, is there?
Well, there's a couple significant ones, such as the chicane, maybe turn 7, but there's a couple to watch out for. Certainly drivers starting to load into the grid slots now. If I had to pick a winner from this race, probably I'm going to stick with my guns and say Hoekstra, even though he was the one I said my surprises.
Okay, I'm going to go for Simoncic as they're all about to line up. I think he can finally get his race 1 win. So the lights are going on, and here we go. We're underway here at the Nurburgring, and that's a blistering start by Simoncic, exactly what he wanted. Milan did not get off the line well though, and Olsen has already got past him. They're going to be side by side going down towards turn 1, and Muscat's not too far behind either. The 3 of them all batting their way to get through turn 1. Olsen's through, Milan in 3rd, Muscat 4th, and so far it doesn't look too bad. I think everyone's actually got through the first couple of corners. Well, Simoncic leads it though from Olsen, who's right on his gearbox actually. So Olsen's done very good at the start of this race. Matt Richards has dropped back down to 5th with Hoekstra in 6th, Quinty 7th, Joe Watts and Wesley Stefano 8th and 9th. Sven de Vries still in 10th place there. So, oh, look at that. Olsen's going side by side with Simoncic, and they're still side by side. Olsen's got the inside line now for turn 6 and takes the position. So, a great start for Olsen, blistering start to pick up first place from 3rd on the grid as well. Really impressive as we enter the second half of this first lap, and Olsen just drifting around turn 7 there, but looking like he's showing the field how it's done so far. I'm surprised Simoncic was overtaken that early on. I thought he had a decent start, but maybe just struggling to get the tyres warmed up, and he's trying to fight back Olsen right there, but nothing on going into the turn 10 and 11 left-right complex of corners.
Yeah, it was a great start from Olsen. He just held on the back of Simoncic perfectly, and then chose his line, went around the outside of 5, which became the inside of 6, and Simoncic couldn't really defend against it. Olsen just had it covered. Coming at the NGH chicane here, then Simoncic still can't find a way through. He is not having an easy time against Tobias Olsen here, although it's been a very, very clean first lap from everyone, and there's been no incidents to report. So great news to say that, but Olsen looking around the first lap as the leader.
Yeah, there is one incident that I have just noted, and that's Rob Mason speared off the inside of turn 11 and hit the wall quite hard. Roy Pasile had to take a point in action, went onto the grass as well, so Rob Mason's actually lost the front wing, so we'll have to see what he can do, because he's going to have to pit in and lose a lot of time there as De Vries is defending from Joe Watson's turn 1, and I think there's been a spin. Oh, Chris Kinsman's gone around, he's got stuck with Wesley Stefano there down at turn 1. They're side by side, and well, they've lost a ton of positions each. They're down in 17th and 18th position, only Pasile and Mason are behind them.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Kinsman in that corner there. It was into turn 1 though. I think he's misjudged his picking point. He turned in and absolutely speared into Stefano there. He just... it was Joe Watts he went into. My mistake, it wasn't Stefano. Went into the side of Watts, and then I think he was then collected by Stefano, or he went into Stefano and then they got stuck. But yeah, Kinsman just missed his braking point completely and rammed into the side of Watts there, and maybe the Joe Watts has damage, but it looks like he's got a reason to be scot-free.
Yeah, unfortunate incident. Hopefully they can both carry on, and right now Simičić is certainly trying to carry momentum on Tobias Olsen right behind him here as we go through this second lap, and Simičić certainly has woken up now. He might have been a little bit asleep in that first lap, but right now he's all over the back of Olsen as we go up the hill, going up towards the final chicane, turns 13 and 14 once again. Can Olsen hold on to this? He's not defending. Simičić goes to the inside, braking very late, and clips the curb on the inside. And they're still, well, look at that. Olsen's actually come out in front, and Simičić has fallen back into the final corner. Simičić has a look up the inside, pokes his nose, but nothing quite on, and Olsen will complete lap 2, still in the lead.
I think he knew that wasn't going to happen, Tobias. That's why he didn't try to defend too hard. Journeys, he hit the brakes, then the car slid a back step out. There was contact between the two and also came out ahead. He then tried a final turn to change, but again there was nothing doing for him, and well, as long as he stuck behind Olsen, his infamous tyre conservation is just not going to happen. This is a great ploy from Olsen to defend as well as he hadn't get ahead, because it's going to mean Journeys uses up his tyres more.
Yeah, he is, and he certainly used up a lot there, and lost a bit of time, and that's actually allowed Milan to come and fight his way through. Matt Richards, I think, has just lost a position to Hoekstra as well, so he's dropped back to 6th place now, and Hoekstra's up into 5th, so progressing well. Richards is struggling a little bit. He's got Quint also behind him in 7th, just looking on and seeing if he can get a way round Richards at some point.
You know this whole Olsen Simičić battle, Sam. It's just opened the door for Boyer Milan, because he's really not that far behind. These two have been juggling it out with each other, and Boyer's just sat there being the quiet one, and he's managed to catch up. If he can get onto the back of Simičić, he could be fighting for the lead, never mind second.
Yeah, he certainly could be. I think he's just biding his time, isn't he? Waiting to see if Simičić will make a mistake or if these two will come clashing together, because right now it looks like Simičić is just that little bit quicker than Olsen. As we head down the hill and back up again towards the final chicane. This is where Simičić had a little bit of a go last time around, but he's a little bit too far back now, and Olsen doesn't feel the need to defend at all, so Simičić is just going to follow him through. But it'll be interesting to see here if Simičić can just try and keep it clean and follow Olsen through the final corner and get a run down towards turn 1. But again, it looks like Simičić is just a little bit too far behind, and Olsen's actually done a very neat little job at the end of lap 3 there to gap him a little bit.
He's doing a fairly good job of gapping him indeed. The gap is half a second at turn 1, though Simičić has got a great line, and Olsen's not getting a very good one at all, and he's just closed the gap up in one corner.
Well, there you go, all that hard work for nothing, wasn't it? Because Simičić is right back on the rear bumper of Olsen now, and again though, this is not really the place to overtake on the track through this Mercedes arena and out down towards the hairpin at the bottom of the track. Maybe at the hairpin you could try to stick up the inside, but it's quite a wide one, so not too easy to pass anyone there, and I think Simičić is just going to have to be patient, as is a few of these drivers right now. It's not too much of a position changing right now. It looks like everyone's kind of settling in a little bit and just waiting for the mistake of any of these drivers.
Yeah, and mistakes will happen if cars are pushed too hard. That much is certain. I mean, looking at this whole battle at the moment, this Olsen Simičić battle might be holding him up slightly, but Milan's not really capitalising or anything. He's just sitting behind him waiting to be honest. At the moment, it's a Multiforce 3-4. They're having a good enough race to put themselves 3rd and 4th at the moment. Further down the field, though, we have some engaging battles between the likes of Mike Quint, who is actually trying to defend quite well from the MDR car of Mike Quint there, and Richards defending from Quint from P6 and P7. You got battles up and down the field, really, not inclusive, and then you got Whoopie Yorkshire as well defending from Richards. So there is other battles to be looked at apart from this Simičić-Olsen battle, but it is the closest one to track the battle for the lead.
Yeah, and Fournier had done such a good job as well. He got up to 11th place, and it looked like he was the victim of some kind of issue with Joe Watts, and actually went off track into the wall coming out of the hairpin, and he's dropped all the way back down to 17th, so he must be furious after all that work that he's done to move through from last place. He's back down near the back again, and I'll have to see if he can try and catch up as Olsen goes a little bit defensive in turn 1. Simičić doesn't really challenge him, just takes a wide line and holding station still, these two, but Simincic is ready to pounce whenever he can. Milan's actually fallen a couple of seconds back now, so maybe doesn't quite have the pace of the top two to hold on to them as it currently stands.
Yeah, perhaps not. I mean, I know Fournier won't be a very happy Frenchman. He won't be happy to be back down in 17th. He'll want to make his way through. But yeah, this whole Simincic, to be his Olsen battle in the front, really, you know, not going anywhere at the moment, to be honest now. I think Olsen's starting to gap them a bit. But Jason Muscat doing a good defence on Hoekstra and Richards behind. And for Richards, it's been an all-right race, but he was not as I ever think he would like to be.
No, I think Richards lost a couple of positions, but he's actually coming back a little bit now. He's not doing too bad for himself, and they've actually all caught up to Muscat. So Muscat certainly not got too much pace at the moment compared to those behind him. He was out in his own a little bit, and now he finds Hoekstra is all over the back of him. Richards as well, and Quint's not too far behind either, so we've got a four-way battle for 4th place, and I think this is really where it can start heating up soon, as it looks like Hoekstra is a little bit further back, and Richards is actually closer to gaining 5th place at the moment, but again, no one's really able to challenge into this chicane. You really have to be close. Oh, Richard brakes so late, doesn't he? But just about gets away with it.
He did, yeah, that was so close to being a rear ending of Hoekstra there, but he's managed to get away with it and simultaneously close the gap down a little bit. He'll have a good run, as will Wupke, down into the first turn here. I would not be surprised to see either of them try and lock up the inside of one.
Yeah, here goes Hoekstra, and Muscat's already gone full defensive towards Silwan. He knows exactly what's going to happen here, and Wupke, Hoekstra's going to try and go around the outside of Muscat. Muscat just takes a start line in. Hoekstra looked for the cutback. It's not quite on. He couldn't quite get the drive out the corner. And Muscat just about holding on, but Hoekstra's looking up the inside here. It's turn 4. They're side by side. And Richards is practically pushing Muscat through as well. But it's not been quite enough for Muscat, because it looks like Hoekstra's got the position into 4th place. Job done, and Muscat's actually having to look at Richards, because Richards is trying to go around the outside of them. They're going to be side by side through 5 and 6. Muscat on the outside of 6 now, and that's surely not the line to be on. Can Richards get this move done? Oh, not quite. They're still going to be side by side down towards the hairpin, and all of a sudden Quint is on the back of them, trying to make it free wide as well. Look at that. He's actually up the inside, out the outside of Richards, and it looks like Richards has actually done a pretty decent job of getting past Muscat there. Just got the perfect line through the hairpin and moves up to 5th finally. Great side by side battle between those two, and Hoekstra as well. Really good one, and clean driving.
He got there in the end, didn't he? He managed to get through, but then again, Jason Muscat wants another crack at him, and he will continue to chase until he gets that 5th place back. But Mike Quint in all this, as you rightfully say, he used the battle to catch up, and that MDR car is poking its nose all around the Multiforce's back end, and Jason Muscat knows it all too well. And look at this, Sven de Vries wants to get involved now in the satellite.
Yes, Sven de Vries is what's up. He's moved up a couple of positions from his 10th place starting position, and he's looking to the outside of Quint, who's also at the same time trying to have a go at Muscat, and I think that's actually going to affect him a little bit, because Sven de Vries is really hammering him all over, just trying to find a way through. But Quint actually gets a good run out of the final corner. De Vries is going to sit in his toe as we go down towards turn 1. Can he get close enough to try and have a go? Maybe go to his right, or is he going to go left? He has a look at the right, but only just to let Quint know he's there really. Quint actually takes a slight tight line into 1, but gets away with it, and they all stay in the same position somehow.
Yep, they have managed to stay in the same position. Quint's still there ahead of De Vries, although he's having to go at Muscat, and Richards has gone wide, coming out at 5 there. So through 6, he's not going to have an advantageous line over Muscat on lap 7 here. And the Maltese is just going to try and fling it down the inside, and then he's going to try and hold up. Richards has probably got the inside of 6. No, this is 6 now. Sorry, it was 3 and 4 through Mercedes Arena. But now it's turn 6, and now Muscat has got the run down at turn 7, but it's not enough. And here comes Quint now just to compound his issues.
Yeah, Joe Watts had an issue as well. He's gone off track and he's down in 16th place. I couldn't quite see what happened because I don't have any replays, unfortunately. But De Vries and Quint and Muscat and Richards all still so close together as we enter the final sector on this current lap as we go up towards turn 10. And look at that, Quint's having to go defensive there because De Vries is having a look at him into 10. And that just means he's lost a bit of ground to Muscat. Gets off the 11 pretty well though, but again, moving across the track, trying to break the toe somehow because De Vries is closed up on him constantly. And this time around, De Vries is going to have the inside line, the chicane, the final chicane. De Vries has the perfect line for the corner and takes it with ease in the end. Actually, a good little move by De Vries. Quinn couldn't really hold it there, otherwise it would have been contact in the second part of the corner. And Muscat ahead though is actually having a go at Richards as well.
He is, yes, he's having a little crack at Matt Richards. He's caught back up now as they come into the first turn. There's a big difference in top speeds because of the toe of Muscat. He's going to do it down the inside. Richards is helpless to stop him, but he might look down the outside, but Muscat's got that covered as well, so he's got the place back.
Yep, good move there by Muscat, and Richards just getting a little bit loose there as well, but seems like whatever was troubling Muscat a couple of laps ago, I think he's found a little bit more pace and he's suddenly retaken 5th place, but a good 2 seconds behind Hoekstra now, who seems to have escaped this little battle in 4th and got ahead of these guys. So I'll have to see if Muscat can try and catch up, or is Richards going to have another go as well. He's still there and still battling bravely away as well. So I noticed someone pitted, didn't they? I think it was Brett Metcalf, was it? Just pitted on this past lap as well.
Yeah, it was Metcalf. It was Metcalf. He came in and he must have obviously decided to maybe he must have sustained some damage or something, because lap 8 is very early to pick considering it's a 22 lap race. And yeah, Richards though is still on the back of Muscat, as you rightly say. He is still chasing the Maltese down here. I imagine he'll probably have a go to the chicane if he's got the differential and top speed. But well, Simic to close up the Olsen again. He can have a go here.
Yeah, Simic all of a sudden has challenged. Also goes to the outside of the chicane, and he's so late on the brakes, nearly runs out of room in the second part of the chicane, and also just carries his momentum through and retakes that position. And Simic nearly loses it in the final corner, just gets so loose there, and the back end nearly came round on him, but somehow held on to it. But all of a sudden that means he's a full second behind Olsen now after that save right there. And well, he had a go, but I think it's going to take him a lap or two to try and catch back up.
Yeah, I imagine Simic has quite a rearward big balance going on there, because look like his back just stepped out, and that might be problems with the rear brakes, maybe locking a little bit or something like that, or the brake balance just too far to the back and the not enough weight transfer going on. But yeah, Simic, he almost had him, but the outside of that chicane is never going to work. And he just did not have the line, and that's why Olsen's now a little bit further ahead than he was before. But Richards and Muscat right close to each other in battle for P5 as Garrett De Vries pits.
Yeah, Richards had a bit of a go, didn't he? On Muscat into turn 1, just stuck his nose up the inside, but wasn't quite long enough inside up the side of Muscat to be able to take that position. But right now Muscat looking like he's under increasing pressure. De Vries is right there also, so this is really close between the 3 of them, and Richards, if he wants to get back past Muscat before De Vries can have a go at him as we head down into the hairpin, this is where all the momentum can be lost or gained. You need a good exit out this corner, use a curve on the outside to get some good traction as well as we head up really fast left, right hander. I'm getting my rights and my lefts mixed up there, and all line astern, but you just feel that coming up to the final chicane, turns 13 and 14, someone's going to have a go.
You get the feeling someone is, yeah, and Sven De Vries maybe not going to be that person. But Matt Richards right in the draft of Muscat there. Well, De Vries in all fairness, let's give it to him. He is pretty close, but I doubt he's close enough to make a move. Although, yeah, there is a slight speed difference, so he's not going to go for it. Neither is Richards. I think they all the other two far away. But that was the good old dive bomb, and we're now going to make it.
Yeah, up front, Simic is all over the back of Olsen again. They both got a bit loose coming out the final corner. Olsen's having to go defensive into turn 1. Simic goes to the outside. He's looking for the cutback, but just not on there. He can't seem to get enough speed through turn 1 to make that cutback work. And Olsen holds on to position once again, so looking further back. And no, De Vries and Richards and Muscat all stay in their same positions as well. No change there through turn 1, but something's brewing between both these battles. We've got an eye on each at the moment. It's very exciting as we're heading towards the mandatory pit stops.
Yeah, I get the feeling Jane Simic is running less swing than Olsen is, which is why he's not able to capitalise in the corners, but he's got him on the straights, because in that draft he is just so much quicker than Olsen is the problem. But yeah, less downforce means more overall tyre wear, which is an interesting thing given we know him for being so good on his tyres.
Yeah, maybe he's just trying to mix it up a little bit. Just to maybe he feels that maybe it'll change his look. Something I really don't know, but it just seems like a track that you want a lot of downforce on it. It's more corners and straights. And Olsen's actually run a little bit wide there, coming through turn 10. That's going to compromise his line in turn 11, and he's going to be all kinds of trouble going up the hill as well, because he's lost all momentum. And that means Simicic is again alongside him. Again, he goes to the outside of the chicane. This time around, can he brake late enough but hold on to it? He's tight through the second part of the chicane, and also still there in terms of side by side, and it's the final corner. Simicic's got the preferred line. Bit of contact between the two there, but it looks like Simicic has got through and takes the lead finally. It's only taken him 10 laps to do so, but he's got that position back that he lost on lap 1, and Olsen not quite close enough to challenge, but Simicic taking no chances, takes a defensive line into 1 to ensure that he keeps that position.
Yeah, well, that was a good move from Simicic, although I've just noticed it wasn't without a bit of controversy, because he had all 4 wheels outside of the white line to have that done. So it might be considered to be a little bit of an illegal move there, but I don't know. But he is through there.
Be interested to see if Olsen's anything to say about that after the race. Hopefully we can get a word with him, because that will be an interesting talking point indeed. Further back then, Muscat now has De Vries behind him, because Sven De Vries has got past Matt Richards. It must have happened in the last lap or so. De Vries now up into 6th place, all over the back of Muscat in 5th. And with all these pit stops, I think De Vries wants to gain another position before he comes in and changes his tyres.
Yep, and of course, you know, it's a question of when are they going to change the tyres, because you got so many potential strategies. You might want to stay out later on the first and then have less laps on the second. That's Janice Simicic's favourite. Or you might want to go 50-50, half the race on one, half the race on the other. Keep it nice and simple so you know exactly how the car's going to respond. But yeah, lots of potential thingies, and it's going to be interesting to see when these top 2 pit, with Janice now being ahead. Maybe Tobias thinks he can undercut him, but he knows probably that he likes to extend his tyres as long as possible.
Yeah, I think whatever happens, Olsen will be hoping that he can get back out ahead of Simicic after the pit stops, because he did a very good job of defending there, and I think that's his best chance of winning this race, is just getting ahead of Simicic and defending for his life. Right now, Muscat isn't defending too much, and De Vries has a look at him going into the final chicane, but not quite close enough, and De Vries remains in 6th place. We'll see if anyone pits here. No one's pitted this time around at the end of lap 11. So it looks like everyone's going to try to extend this run by at least a lap or 2 more. De Vries, though, right onto the back of Muscat. Muscat again not defending here. Down towards turn 1. De Vries right along the side of him and goes through there. Just a good move. Got the position. Muscat tries to cut back, but not on at all. And De Vries picks up 5th place. Again, his march continues.
Yeah, I think he must have thought he could get the cut back through turn 1, and unfortunately, that gambler's lost him money in the form of 5th place, and he's not going to be very happy about that. Yeah, that was a good move by Sven to get that through, in all honesty. Inside of that first turn can be a move that works really well, and Matt Richards now wants to go the Maltese as well. So the Richards-Muscat battle is straight back on. Jacob Pegg has come into the pits on lap 12, though.
Yeah, Pegg pits and Richards attacks Muscat. Are you surprised, Josh, to see that none of the higher up runners have pitted yet, considering we are at the halfway mark in this race now?
If this was the first race on commentary, I probably would be surprised, but I know Janice Simicic enough now to know that he likes to try and pit late, and Tobias Olsen will just be staying out there so we can pit at the same time.
Yeah, it looks like the rest of the field seems to be following suit as well, don't they? It's like they're all waiting for each other to blink. It's a mass staring contest between the top 10 right now, and I think this is surely going to be the lap where we start to see some of them peeling into the pit. Simicic goes through the final chicane. See, is he going to dive in? Is he going to take to the pits? No, he doesn't. But look at that, Olsen does. Olsen from seconds comes into the pit, so he's pitted before Simicic, hoping to get that position over him by the time Simicic takes the pit lane.
I figured he might go for the undercut, and he has gone on lap, well, what will be lap 13 when he crosses the line. Milan will take second, therefore. And maybe Janice is now thinking, well, I'm just going to stay out and keep going. Or maybe he'll actually want to come in, because those tyres would have taken a bit of a battering from the battling he was doing before. As we have, if we were playing a drinking game, shots for brake failures, we have our first in the form of Chris Kinsman.
Oh wow, well we seem to get one, don't we? And Kingsman is the guy who's got that brake failure. It seems to be something that reoccurs every race. I don't quite know why it happens or why the brakes are so well not very reliable. As Christopher Lichtenstein has actually missed his pit box there, coming in from 9th place up in the field, so he's missed his pit box and he's gonna lose a bit of time doing that, probably about 5 or 6 seconds there. So not good for him. And we'll see where he shakes out once this is all gone through in the pit stops. Olsen had come back out into 8th place and in some clean air as well, so that's good for him in his quest to try and leapfrog Simijic back into the lead.
Yeah, that will be his quest at the moment, and Olsen after that pit stop is P8. He wants to try and get as much time as he possibly can on Jenny Simijic on fresh rubber. Until Simicic's pit, he will have the upper hand, at which point it'll be Jernich on the fresh rubber. So he's trying to gain back more time than he's going to lose later, and it's all about when Jernich pits in, because if he's faster on those tyres, he should stay out, of course, but if he's slower, then he wants to get in as soon as possible, really, to get on the fresh rubber. But yeah, has that battle with Olsen affected his tyre life? Evidently not, because he's still staying out, as Ring Kokstra does come in.
Yep, from effectively last place in the field at the moment, because Kinsman, of course, has retired. So there's only 90 runners at the moment, only one retiree, so that's pretty good. But again, Simijic, Milan stay out, Hoekstra stays out. Sven de Vries, though, our championship leader, he has pitted in now, so he's going to take some new tyres, and I think Matt Richards is following him as well. Let's see where these guys come out around some of their competitors. Quint also in, so more of the top 10 are pitting now.
Yeah, all of the top 10 deciding that now is the time, and of course Tobias Olsen's going to go through past all of them. But yeah, so Richards made a position up in the pits, and he's going to come out now, and De Vries is just going to get straight back, because obviously same pit crews, same sort of strategies, they're all going to be in roughly the same place in this Richards De Vries battle is there. Look at Jeffrey Fournier, who's gone up to 6th. I imagine he hasn't pitted yet, and if he has, those tyres are rolls, but 6th, still pretty good for him in the moment.
Yeah, Fournier hasn't pitted yet, but doing very well, especially after having a spin earlier on as well. Quint, I noticed in the pits, he completely missed his pit box by about 2 or 3 pit boxes, it must be noted, and really had to get the car into reverse to get into the right point and take his pit stop. So a huge time loss from him, and really fell out of favour with De Vries and Richards as well. He's quite far behind those guys, about 8 seconds now. So that must have been about 6 or 7 seconds that he lost there, just from that one mistake alone.
Yeah, and that is going to cost him, because obviously, you know, Argo would be right up there with the likes of Richards if he hadn't made it, given it cost him about 8 seconds, but he's going to have to try his hardest to get that time back now, and it's not going to be an easy one. Simijic is still out, although you couldn't really expect anything less from him at this point. He's got about 5 seconds to Milan, though, and Boyer has not pitted either. Then it's Whoopi Hoekstra behind 11 seconds. Olsen, for reference, is 24 behind, and I'm not sure how long a pit stop here takes.
I'm not too sure either. We'll have to try and time it. Maybe we can get on Hoekstra right now, because he's coming into the pits, pitting from 3rd place currently. Muscat goes by and takes that position. He still is yet to pit, so Hoekstra into the pits to his one and only pit stop. Olsen goes by as well, and of course he's already pitted. He's still got oh, look at that, Hoekstra's missed his pit box as well. What's going on here? He's having to reverse in the pit lane. There's something odd going on here, isn't there, Josh? I don't know what's going on, but Hoekstra still hasn't taken his he hasn't started his pit stop. I really don't know what's going on at all.
Look how much he's reversing. He must have completely missed it. Unless he said it was the first one. Yeah, he's found it eventually after about 25 seconds, but he's going to kill his time that he had before. In fact, Fournier, who's pitted at the same time, is going to come out ahead.
Yeah, Fournier was so behind him as well before these pit stops. That is a huge loss in time for Hoekstra. He's behind Christopher Lichtenstein as well, so where Hoekstra's coming out right now is pretty much right in terms of his actual track position. He's come out in 10th, so that's 7 positions lost in this field right now, and that's a massive, massive loss for him. And he's going to have to try and make that back up. I hope no other issues, he didn't get any other kind of penalties for that, all those issues in the pits right there, because that would just add insult to injury right now after all that time that he's gone and lost.
Oh, here we go. Simijic in now after 15 laps.
Yep,
He's decided now is the time.
Yep, Sivicic comes in the pits, so and Milan as well actually. So the top two have come into the pits. It's going to be interesting to see where Olsen is compared to Sivicic. Muscat also in, so the top three currently are all pitting, making their pit stops, and that pretty much cycles through most of the people in the field. I think there was a bit of excitement there at the time. I don't quite know what happened, but yeah, Muscat in, Sivicic in. Sivicic is leaving the pit lane right now. Where's Olsen coming down the pit straight towards turn one? And Sivicic, I think it looks like he's extended his lead a little bit here. Yeah, you can't even see Olsen in the same frame as they go through turn one. So a huge game by Sivicic, and that's exactly what he wanted after that pit stop.
Well, he was doing the same lap times as on those tyres as well. He probably could have pushed them until the end of the race if he didn't have to pit stop. But yeah, he has just managed to make full advantage of that. He's just extended his lead by coming into the pits, and barring any major misfortune, this should be his race one now.
Yeah, it should be, but we all know what's happened to Sivicic so far this season. When he's been leading in race one, it's somehow gone wrong for him every single time, and he'll be all too aware of that as well. I'm sure he's going to be worrying about every little thing with his well, anything really. Even himself, I'm sure he's worried about what he's going to do. But he can only focus on the job in hand, and that's just to maintain this 4-second gap now between himself and Olsen. Milan is in third right now, another 3 seconds behind Olsen, and Muscat's actually back up into fourth and ahead of De Vries as well. De Vries is 4 seconds behind Muscat, so something's definitely gone on in those pit stops there. De Vries has lost a little bit of time, and of course with Hoster's issues as well, he's all the way down in 9th place and helping all these guys jump up a few positions. And I noticed, Josh, you stated that Richards had a spin as well. He's all the way down in 12th.
Yeah, Matt Richards 12th, and well, Argo Teder, our cameraman, noticed that he had a spin before. I didn't notice he's gone down to 12th though, to be honest. So yeah, that is an interesting development that Richards is there. Yeah, he came into the pits, that's why he may have had some damage. And yeah, that's now he's down in 12th behind Metcalf. So he'll have a bit of a try and climb back up if he doesn't stop sliding the car around like that. But yeah, Richards with a bit of work to do, but at the moment, still all Sivicic at the moment. That said, last lap from Olsen was a 150.2, and last lap from Sivicic, oh, well, it was a 2:12, but he'd been in the pits. But yeah, at the moment, it seems like Olsen keeping time with Sivicic, but not exceeding it.
Yeah, sorry, Argo. I thought Josh had picked up on that one. So yeah, Argo, our cameraman today, keeping us filled in with everything that's going out on track. But you're absolutely right, Josh. Olsen's definitely keeping Sivicic honest and closed that gap down a little bit since Sivicic came out of the pits. Probably because Sivicic had to get his tyres up to temperature, so he didn't quite have the grip that he wanted. It's currently 2.8 seconds between the two of them, and I'm sure Olsen's going to be pushing hard to try and close that one down. The next couple of laps, I think, are going to be pivotal. Because if Olsen's going to do anything, he's got to do it pretty soonish, considering there's only 6 laps left to go in this race now, such as the late pit stop that Sivicic made right there. It's not too long, and Olsen's definitely got the work to do. Milan, a bit further back, is all in the world of his own, though. In third place, he's got pretty much nothing to do. He's got no one behind, no one in front. He can just drive around and enjoy the position he's currently in.
Yeah, I guess that's all he can do at the moment, and well, just got to make the most of enjoying the positions that he's in, because I guess that's all he's going to be doing.
Yeah, it's definitely spread out a little bit. There's certainly a few guys who had issues there. Richards and De Vries, Gerrit De Vries, I should say, have just come back into this as well, and I actually think that Richards is retiring right here.
Well, yeah, he's actually come in. Yep, that is him done. Wow.
Yes, so that's unfortunate for Richards because he was having such a good run velocity, battling away with Muscat, and if he hadn't had that spin, he probably would have been around 4th and 5th, around Muscat and De Vries after this pit stop. So huge disappointment for him, and I hope he does make his way back in race 2. It's actually brakes again, isn't it, for Richards? So another victim of the brakes. It's interesting to note what's going on with these brakes.
Yeah, something must have gone wrong because, yeah, he had a shimmy on the way into the pits, and that must have been his brakes away.
Yeah, that's it. That's a huge shame. Perhaps it's just not opening up the cooling. I've noticed that Joe Watts has had a little excursion as well.
Yeah, Richards had gone off at the chicane with the same thing as Shamey and then just lost it. So yeah, and I've noticed we lost Roy Vijay as well. I did see that, mind. He just had a massive impact with the wall. That must have damaged the car terminally, unfortunately, because he wasn't able to continue much further than he did. But yeah, interesting that we have these brake failures. It just adds a bit more of a dimension. You got to keep them cool. Got to keep them cool.
Yep, got to keep them cool, and you wouldn't really say this is a track that would be heavy on brakes. It doesn't feel like it. It doesn't look like one that requires too many demands. There is a lot of corners, but there isn't any massively long straights either. But either way, the brakes are certainly taking a bunny around here for a few of these drivers today. And we'll just hope, keep our fingers crossed that nobody else is affected by these brakes, especially not those guys who are running around up front who have done a stellar job so far. And well, we'll see if there's any more battles coming up. But the top, I have to say, the top 10 are fairly spread out. Also, is actually the closest to Simijic out of anyone else. Well, the closest between two drivers in the top 10, Simijic and Olsen right now. And the gap has come down again. It's 3.3 seconds now, so it's coming down slowly. And if Olsen carries this on, he will actually get to the back of Simijic before this race is over. So it's not all over for the lead of this race either, and I'm sure Olsen would definitely have a go if he had the opportunity on the final lap.
Yeah, we're on lap 19, and obviously the race ends at the end of lap 22, so there is still quite a bit of time left, but he needs to start gaining the gap, I think, a little bit quicker than what he is, because at the moment it's not going to be enough to get to Simijic.
Yeah, it'll be close. He could certainly pick up a little bit of a toe if he could just get it maybe under 1 second, but we'll have to see if that can be done. Simijic might just turn it on in a lap or two's time, but Olsen's got a good pace. Ever since he pitted, he's been constantly in the high 1 minute 50s, whereas Simijic hasn't broken into the 1 minute 50s yet. On this second run, he's still doing 51s, but I just feel that this time around, Simijic might just be able to turn it up a little bit more, just to keep Olsen at bay. I think that's what he needs to do right now. He can't put pressure on himself towards the end of this race. He needs to just keep a safe gap, otherwise he's going to lose it and lose the run that he's got going at the moment, because it's looking good for him, but not looking completely comfortable.
Yeah, not looking the comfiest thing ever, to be honest, and yeah, there's not much comfort to be had, I think, with this little amount to go, but what comfort is seems to be enough for the moment.
Yeah, so Simijic crosses the line, completes lap 19, moves on to lap 23. Laps to go in this race, and the gap has gone up a little bit because Simijic has just done 1 minute 50.3. So take that, Olsen. That was a huge lap time by Simijic there, full 4/10 of a second faster, and I think that was Simijic just laying the market down, just letting Olsen know that he's got the pace and he's not going to stand for anything right now. Olsen in second, Milan in third, Muscat in fourth, 17 seconds off the lead. De Vries 4 seconds behind Muscat, and doesn't seem to be close after these pit stops either, so the run that he had going before the pit stops just seems to have halted a little bit, as he's currently running around in 5th place. Mike Quintus in 6th, with Fournier all the way up into 7th right now. I'm just having a look, he has pitted as well, so that's impressive by Fournier to find himself in 7th place after the eventful race that he's had, starting from the back and then having a spin after getting up to 11th place and recovering from 17th to go back up again. And he's ahead of Christopher Lichtenstein in 8th, Hoekstra in 9th after that disastrous pit stop. He hasn't gained up too much, and Stefano in 10th, just holding on to, he's got that top 10 at the moment, and actually quite comfortably so, nearly 20 seconds ahead of Brett Metcalf and Deltake. So Stefano is currently your man, who will be taking the reverse grid pole as well for race 2.
Yeah, and at the moment, if Stefano does take that pole, I'm sure he'll make a very good job of it. He's been pretty good this race, if not the highest ranking driver. He's been very solid and very consistent. That's what we need. Jenna Simijic is about to start the last lap, but 1 in this race.
Yeah, so Simijic moving on, and again, another quick lap by Simijic, a 50.3, also only 6 thousandths of a second between his last 2 laps, so that's good consistency by Simičić there, and really just cementing his position right now. He's just hoping and praying that everything just stays at it as it is, as it currently stands with a couple of laps left to go. And just watching him, he's right on it though, using all the track and using a good deal of curb, also just making sure that he gets as much speed out the car as possible and not leaving anything to chance here. He really wants to make sure that Olsen can't challenge him, and looking very commanding at the moment.
He is looking very commanding at the moment, and yeah, I think the lead that Simičić has is just really unassailable at this race now. Short of problems, you know, for him, I think Olsen's just going to have to top a second.
I think he will do. He had such a good run at the start of the race, getting up into first place in lap 1. I really didn't see that one coming, I have to be honest, with Olsen. That was a really good start by him. I thought Simičić was just going to sprint off, considering how good he was in qualifying. But Olsen really took the fight to him, and there was no one else that really could challenge the top two so far today. Milan, about 9 seconds back, he's had a good race himself, a little bit quiet because he hasn't really had too much to do in terms of people challenging him, but a solid run by him, but still not quite enough for the top two. I've noticed that De Vries has closed the gap of Muscat a little bit now, but it's still about 2 seconds, so there's actually a lap car of Gerrit De Vries who actually gets out of the way through the chicane, just goes over the chicane now as Simičić has started his final lap of the race.
He has, yes, and with a 3.5 second gap, it really is looking more and more like Olsen's not going to be able to do anything here. And well, I think there is quite a lot of gaps on the track at the moment. I think the order's going to be positions are going to be pretty fixed now until the end of the race, to be honest. But what a great race from Simičić. It's been going to finally get the monkey off his back in terms of race 1 not going well.
Yeah, let's hope he can just finish this last lap off as he goes through turns 5 and 6 right now. Just got to keep it calm. The gaps come down a little bit, and I think that's because Simičić is probably just backing off a little bit now, probably a little bit more cautious in terms of where he's placing the car and just making sure he can get it home. He doesn't need to do anything spectacular on this final lap. Just getting us out of the hairpin and into the second half of this final lap now. Let's just hope he can keep it together, as most of his drivers are. De Vries again get a bit closer to Muscat, but still way too far away to challenge him.
Yeah, just a bit too far away now, to be honest, and yeah, he's trying to close in. He has closed up a bit on this lap, but it's not going to be enough really. There is still 3 seconds between the two of them, and as he comes down into the final couple of corners now, it has really been a commanding race from Gerrit Simičić, and I'm sure the Serbian is going to be very happy with how he's done today.
Yeah, Simičić then comes through the final couple of corners. It's not been an easy one for him. He's had to really take the fight to Olsen, who got that lead from him at the start of this race. But Simičić rounds the final corner now and comes across the start-finish line to win here. He finally wins the race 1 here at the Nurburgring, takes the checkered flag. Olsen in second. Borja Milan will come home in third place of Multiforce with his teammate Jason Muscat just behind him as well, who's actually got De Vries pretty close to him. In the end though, it wasn't quite enough, and Muscat will hold on for De Vries in 5th. And Quint, it looks like it's actually getting a bit close between himself and Fournier, but Fournier spun at the chicane. Fournier in 7th place spun at the chicane, so Quint will come home in 6th place. We'll have to see, can Fournier get back going? Yes, he can. And Chris Lichtenstein isn't actually that too close to him either, so luckily for Fournier, he doesn't lose any positions there, and will claim this 7th place across the line. So good drive by him, maybe just try to get one more, and just a bit too hot into the final chicane there. Lichtenstein in 8th, Hoekstra in 9th after those issues in the pits, wasn't able to really gain any positions from there. And Stefano, Wesley Stefano, for EJ Engineering, comes home in 10th place to pick up a good 10th place finish and a pole position for the second race as well. He'll be definitely, he's definitely going to be chuffed with that one. Brett Metcalf in 11th place, rounding the final corner now to come home with Eric Stamford not too far behind him, Ivor in 12th, and Jacob Pegg also just taking the final couple of corners with Rob Mason, who of course had that issue on the first lap when he speared off coming out of turn 11, hit the inside wall, lost his front wing, but he's made it home. He's come home in 14th place on the lead lap as well, so very good effort by him. Gerrit de Vries and Rennick Hostra were in 15th and 16th. They were both one lap down, and your retirements today are Joe Watts, Matt Richards, Roy Vasile, and Chris Kinsman, 2 of them with brake failures as well, it must be noted.
Yeah, another more brake problems for Richards and Kinsman. Yeah, but great win by Simoncic. Olsen second. Fantastic from Fournier to get out 7. Must be said, he's done a great job to get back up there, and from pretty much last on the grid to 7th is great. He's made up 13 places, and he'll be starting the next race from 4th.
Yeah, so definitely one to watch out for then is Fournier in the second race. We haven't really been able to see what he's been able to do compared to the front runners, but I can tell you that he was doing 1 minute 50s, mid 1 minute 50s as well in the second half of that race after his final pit stop. So Fournier has definitely got the pace to challenge the front runners. Maybe not quite as quick as Simoncic was with those blistering lap times right at the end, but certainly nothing to sniff at Fournier. So if he could get a good start, maybe he can claim a win after missing out on qualifying, and that would be a huge result for him as well.
Yeah, a great big result indeed, and it's probably going to help him out a lot in terms of the standings because it is, as I say, a big result for him.
Yep. So moving on to just a little half time here. Have a bit of a breather. My game's actually crashed, so no idea what's going on. But hopefully it's all right for you guys at home. It's just a bit of a weird one there for me. But yeah, Simoncic with a win finally gets a win in race 1, and got a few issues here, but a great win for Simoncic, and I'm sure he's going to be ecstatic. I hope we can have a quick chat with him as well after race 2 today, because he's done a wonderful job there in race 1 and deserved it in Monza before he had that engine issue. To get in Magny-Cours, he was looking strong for the win until I think he had an issue with his wheel, if I remember correctly. His wheel in his races setup, some kind of issue there. So a couple of times he's missed out on winning the race, and a few struggles as well last time out in America. I remember, I think he had a spin very early on in race 1, and that pretty much counts him out of the race victory. But this time around, he's done it, and he's done it in style as well. So really pleased for him there.
Yeah, very pleased indeed, and I think it was a fantastic race from all involved. To be honest, there was not really as many incidents as there have been in previous races as well. So maybe people are starting to get a hang of these Formula 3s.
Yeah, I think you're right actually, Josh, because we had a lot of spins, didn't we, at the start of the season? A lot of contact as well. It really just to handle these cars, which are certainly not the easiest of cars to work with at times.
Yeah, they can be quite difficult to deal with, and yeah, it's good to see that people are getting the hang of them, but obviously still tricky in their own right. And I'm sure race 2 being a more sprint format, 11 laps, is going to open that up.
Yeah, a few technical issues for me. Sorry about this. Tried to get this one figured out. I hope you're all right, Josh. I'm certainly having a few troubles at the moment.
I got kicked out myself, so it isn't just you, I think, Sam, if you're still in the server, so I'm just trying to get back in.
All right, okay, that's good. So hopefully this isn't a major issue. Hopefully we can get this resolved. I don't know what you guys are able to see at home. Hopefully something, but it's certainly nothing up to at the moment. We're not racing. It will just be warm up if it is still going on, and fingers crossed we can all jump back in so we can at least talk you through what's happening in race 2 as well.
Yeah, we can at least talk you through what's happening. So as we know, Wesley Stunt's going to be starting on pole for that. We know Jeffrey Fournier is going to be 4th. It is a top 10 reverse grid from the first race, which becomes the second. And obviously half the distance of the first, only 11 laps, plays 22 in the first. So a lot less time, and it's going to be a lot more of a sprint.
Yeah, it will be, won't it? And considering the action that we've had in race one in that first half of the race, I think we're definitely going to be in for some fun because it was very close battling right up to those pit stops. I think after those pit stops, it just seemed to spread out a little bit today, and it wasn't quite as good in the second half of the race as it was in the first half. But that just means that in the second race, we're pretty much guaranteed a treat because I'm sure there's going to be battling throughout the field. And interesting as well, Hoekstra, of course, who had that issue in the pits, he was in fourth place before all that happened. So he's going to be starting in second in this race too. And he'll be another guy to watch out for because he had a very good pace also. And yeah, if he could get a good start, then he could certainly be a major contender for winning race two.
He'll be a major contender indeed, and there's a lot of major contenders, and it's just people are loading back into the server now. I think, there's a lot of people who should be watching out this race. Maybe even some of the people are starting further down the end of the top 10, maybe even the likes of Simic, maybe could do the double.
Yeah, it's a shout. Of course, Simic and Olsen. I don't know about you, Josh, but I just felt that those two had just a bit more speed than anyone else in that first race. Milan tried to stick with them at the start of race one, but by the time it got to pit stops, he was nowhere to be seen really, and it was just a two-horse race really. So uh, maybe those are the two guys that again are going to contend in race two.
Yeah, might be contenders indeed. And race two, of course, always the chance for people who didn't do so well in race one to actually get out and do well in race two.
Yep, yep. The likes of Richards, of course, and Vasile, who also had issues. They'll be starting from the back of the grid. We are in warm up at the moment. I've got back into the server. You have as well, Josh, and Argo also are your cameraman for today. So we're all back in. We're just waiting for the drivers now. We've got 11 so far. I think a lot of them are just getting their way back into the server. We're currently in a warm up with 3 minutes to go, but we may end up extending it if everyone's not jumped back in. So bear with us here. We'll certainly get this one back underway sooner rather than later. We've got 12 guys as Simic joins the server as well now. So yeah, like I said, slowly filtering in, but not what you want, Josh. During races, is it? This little bit of commotion if you're a driver.
Yeah, obviously not really what you want as a driver. You try to get on with race two as soon as you can, but yeah, and it's this little wait while everyone gets back in the server. Sometimes it can throw people off, and sometimes it doesn't. Some people prefer longer waits, but with 15 in the server at the moment, we're still got a couple to wait for.
Yeah, and just an interesting one to note as well. I did mention him at the start of this broadcast today, but Maciej Milik has actually turned up as well. So, because he didn't take part in race one, and it does seem to be a running theme with him a little bit that he misses race one, comes up into race two, and I think that's just due to real world commitments. He isn't quite able to get home in time for race one. So he's joined for Hawkeye Racing, so two Hawkeye cars in the field now, and Milik, another exciting, quick driver as well. Another guy who's going to be starting in the back of the grid, and another ingredient as well that's really making this race two look quite tasty indeed.
Yeah, this race two looking to be very interesting indeed. Yeah, it could be very. Yeah, it'd be fun to see how this goes. And of course, with Leinek on the grid, shakes it a bit. He'll be starting from last, of course, but we know how quick he is, so he could very quickly rise up the order.
Yeah, we saw that a little bit back at Indianapolis a couple of weeks ago. It feels like ages since then for me, anyway. But he had a good race too, if I remember correctly, and I'd be interested to see what he could do. So we've got 70 guys in the server right now. A lot of the guys have remade it, and we have restarted warm up, and quite a few drivers have taken this opportunity to jump back out on track and just get a little bit of practice in before we get race two underway with 4 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. Yeah, Nick, just watching him, he's had a bit of a spin. I think he's just getting used to everything after just getting on to see what he can do in the second race.
And of course, that race two going to be looking to be very interesting. As soon as we get everyone back in the server, we'll be going. Should be about 22 minutes because it's roughly 2 minutes a lap. And well, it's 150 actually, but yeah, probably about 20 minutes for this second race, and we should be getting it going very soon.
Yeah, nice length, I think, for a sprint. A good 20-minute race. It's always about right for maybe things start to settle down too much as you approach half an hour's worth of racing. So that's definitely, I like that one. A good amount of laps, amount of time to get excited, but it definitely always feels like it goes way quicker than it actually is, and that just comes down to the racing in this series. Good fun racing. I think today maybe we've seen a few less overtakes than usual, but still some pretty good battles. And I think that's just the nature of the track. It's not an easy one to overtake at all, and it takes a lot of patience to get through that midfield section before you can have a go, either at the start of the lap or at the end of the lap.
Yeah, indeed, I guess. Completely lost my train of thought there, sorry.
No, that's fine, Josh. I was just reading some of the comments as well. I think good drivers are having trouble finding their way to us, and that's what we're waiting for now. Mike Quince joined, as has Christopher Lichtenstein. So 19 drivers. We potentially get 21 here because, of course, Matt Linek has joined us for race 2. I think we're waiting on Brett Metcalf and somebody else as well. I can work out who it is, though. I'll have to do a quick scan of the field and work out who it is.
You do that then. Quick scan to the field, the best of the field, and I do think we've now got 20 cars, we're just waiting for one more person.
Yep, Metcalf has joined the session, so good to have him in as well. He actually had a good race one as well. He finished 11th, and I noticed he pitted very early on lap 7, so he did a good job of sticking it out there for about 15 laps on one set of tyres, and it paid off for him in the end because he got a good result out of it, and he didn't seem to be having too many issues at the end of the race.
Yeah, not many issues in this, and if you can keep that up in a race too and not having many issues there, that's always going to be a good thing, because no issues are best issues.
Exactly. And Chris Kinsman has joined us as well. So that's 21 drivers. Everyone's back in the server. So I'm happy to say we're going to have a full grid of drivers who are turned up today. I'm really pleased about that. Everyone's come back for race 2. We've got a minute left to go and warm up. So we're just going to run this one out before we get to racing. Hopefully it isn't too much of an issue setting the grid. They're gonna have to just sort that one out after a few issues. Few drivers complain of some connectivity issues there, but I think it's just isolated instances. In race 1, I didn't seem to see too much going on there, but only one guy who will be hoping not to have any issues. This is Stefano, who of course we starting on pole position, and well, what's it like? I don't know, Josh. Have you ever started on pole position in a reverse grid? Ever experienced something like that?
Now that's a funny one. I did once and it went drastically wrong, and the second time I didn't even get to take the start. So I'm not the best person to ask about reverse grid starting because it always seems to go wrong.
Oh dear. Yeah. I feel for you. I've had similar issues. I seem to find that if I get involved in reverse grid, there seems to be rain that suddenly appears, and that always makes it a little bit interesting. Another time, there was a huge pileup that I kind of caused as well. So, and not too good for me. And well, maybe we're not the best guys to really talk about reverse grid starts. The grid has been sorted out to an extent. I think. I'm going to look at this. Rinek will be starting from 21st, so he'll get the 21st grid slot. He just hasn't been posted up on the grid that's been shown to me. So the cars are now jumping onto the grid. Fournier, Metcalf, and Richards all getting out early onto the grid here as we all get ready for this warm-up lap before race 2. So Josh, I'm going to ask you before we go through the grid, is there anyone that you really think is going to capitalise from this grid here to take the win today?
Well, I would say personally, probably going to be, honestly, Jeffrey Fournier, because he came up so well in the first race and give him a clear track and he can be quick as anyone.
Interesting. Fournier, yeah, he had a very good race one. Even after a couple of spins, he still got a very good result as the drivers take off from the line. I'm actually going to go for Wopke Hoekstra because I feel like he's going to have to contend with the pits this time around. That was his major thorn in his nail, or whatever it is, thorn in the paw. I don't know what the saying is, but he certainly had a couple of issues in the pits in race one. But he'll be starting from second, and alongside him is Wesley Stefano starting on pole position. As I think we've had some issues here. Something's gone on this warm lap. Is it to do with Sven de Vries? I don't quite know. I can't see.
Well, we don't have a Joel Watts. That much was certain. He's lacking very badly. But maybe, yeah, his ping is 1500 at the moment. He is not having the best connection in the world. But I think Argo was trying to say Sven was going to win. Oh, but Sven has won.
Oh, he has. He's gone off, hasn't he? So he's off the track on the grass. I'm trying to see. He's not moving at all. So there he goes. He gets back going. That's interesting there. He's all the way at the back. So can he retake his grid spot? I think he can. Yeah, he will be able to. But that's interesting for him. So, right, I'll get through the grid now because we've held it up long enough. So Stefano on pole, Hoekstra in second, Lichtenstein is in third with Fournier in fourth. Mike Quint is in fifth. Sven de Vries should take his sixth place spot for Satellite once he gets through the grid. Then the Multiforce guys of Muscat and Milan in seventh and eighth. Olsen in ninth, and race one winner Simicic in 10th. And Josh, if you'll do the honours.
Yeah, Brett Markoff is going to start P11, though I think he's waiting for somebody who's ahead of him in the order to get ahead in P11. But Eric Stanford 12th, Jacob Peck 13th, Rob Mason 14th, then it's Garrett de Vries, Frank Hoekstra, Joel Watts, Matt Richards, Roy Bizarre, Chris Kinsman, and in last place, Matthew Mlanik, who's just told me he's not done any laps here. Oh. So he's going to have to do a good job to get to the front, but I'm sure he can do.
Yeah, we won't criticise him. We won't criticise him if he...
No, we understand because he hasn't had much time.
No, he hasn't. He's not had much time. He hasn't done qualifying. He hasn't done race one. He's only come in for a wall that was affected by that server issue as well. So certainly not the kind of preparation you want for a race. So we'll give him the benefit of the doubt today. Mlanek, whatever he wants to do, he can go off and do it. And if he gets a good result, then it's a nice surprise for him. But Wesley Stefano, it's hard to be racing a little bit quicker now. He's just lined up on the front row of the grid in his number one slot, and it's a bit of a slow formation here right now. Sven de Vries, of course, is having to come through the whole field to take his position. Joe Watts has gone off the track, so whether he's going to come back out or not, I'm not too sure. Of course, he had that he had a high ping as well, as you mentioned, Josh. So we'll see if he takes his comes out in the pits. But the lights are on now and the engines are rise, and here we go in race two. The race is underway and Stefano has an okay-ish start, so does Hoekstra and Lichtenstein as well, and it's all actually pretty close going down towards turn one. Quint has had a good start all the way up into third and looking to go around the outside of both Stefano and Hoekstra. It looks like he might get past Hoekstra as someone spun behind. I think that was Lichtenstein right there. He's gone round in turn one, so he's dropped right back in. Whoa, Quint nearly loses it as well from second place. Stefano leads. Quint in second, Hoekstra in third. Side by side between de Vries and Fournier in fourth and fifth place. Going out of turn four right now, down towards turn 5 and 6.
Oh my lord!
It's a huge crash.
That was a lag attack if ever I've seen one. Someone just hit in the back of Fournier there. I'm just watching the replay of Jeffrey. He was in P4, and yeah, I'm just trying to see what's going on here. Joe Watts has left the race in the meantime, but Fournier was just... Oh, it was Muscat! Muscat just surged ahead into Fournier, causing the massive crash. And oh, then Blindegg went in the back of him as well. This is a pretty big incident, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that looked huge. I think it's Fournier as well, wasn't it? Actually went over onto his head as well, so massive crash. Lots of cars involved as well. It's really shaking up the field even more. We'll have to see if anything happens. I don't think we're going to get a red flag or a restart or anything like that. So we carry on. Stefano in the lead. He's got Hoekstra about 4 tenths of a second behind him. Quint is right there as well in third place. They've all survived that melee coming out of turn 5, I think it was. De Vries is in 4th with Olsen in 5th, and they've really broken away from the rest of the field. Rob Mason is all the way up into 6th place, and he started down in 14th as well, so he's got a bit of a good opportunity there. And oh, look at that, Simono's actually lost the lead. Hoekstra goes through at the final corner, so Hoekstra takes the lead in this race, and it's turn 2, into lap 2, sorry, I should say. He takes the lead, and Stefano tries to come back here, looking to the outside, but can he make it stick? He's going to go all the way around the outside of him, but it's just too far around, and Hoekstra just about holds on to his feet. It's very close between the top 5 right now.
It is, yes. My heart goes out to Jeffrey Forney after that problem at on the first lap. Nothing he could do whatsoever about that. Just absolutely slammed into by a lagging Muscat. Of course, Jason probably wasn't expecting that either. He'll be as shocked as Jeffrey was. He suffered as well. He's on the back as well. But Whoopie Hoekstra with a great start there indeed. He's had a fantastic run. Quint just can't seem to catch up with him. Stefano though trying to challenge though. Let's not forget Stefano still within this. Sven de Vries to be his Olsen still there too. Simic up to 7th already, and Mleinek is obviously having hit Fournier down in 15th. So not the start from the pole that he wanted, but Janej Simic up into 7th. Very strong start from him.
Yeah, very good, strong start indeed. He's got a bit of time to make up on the top runners as De Vries goes through to 3rd as well. So Stefano just losing a few positions now. Lost out to Quinn, lost out to De Vries, and he's down into 4th with Olsen on his tail also as we go up towards turns 10 and 11. Going to the outside is Olsen, just about gets his car there. Nearly ran out of racing room, but luckily they both survived it. Simic up into 6th also. He's got round Mason into turn 10, so he takes 6th, and he's got the top 5 in his sights, but a good 3 or 4 seconds down the road, so a ways to go for Simic as Stefano has got also right into his side. There's contact between the final chicane. Oh, and Stefano's gone round. Oh my goodness, and Stefano's reversed into the track as well. That's not what you want to be doing, and he's got back going. He's all the way down in 10th, but he's lucky that there wasn't a bigger crash there.
Oh yeah, there was contact with Olsen going into the chicane there. And yeah, Olsen down the inside. I don't know whether Wesley turned in. Yeah, Wesley was turning in. And well, as was Tobias. Yeah, Tobias turned in as well, trying to make the inside. And there was contact between the two. Not sure how that one was going to end. But then Stefano, yeah, is just missed by Simic. And then, oh yeah, cars have to go onto the grass to avoid him. Not really should have been reversing possibly. And maybe could have thought that out slightly better. But yeah, Simic now P5. And he's climbing really quickly here.
He certainly is, and he's closing in on the guys ahead as well. Matt Richards is behind him, another guy who's had a very good start, all the way down from 18th on the grid. Richards finds himself in 6th, so that's actually incredible after a couple of laps, 2.5 laps of this track. So really good effort from Richards, and we'll have to see if he can continue that one. But Simic is certainly closing on top for De Vries. Is all over the back of Quint for 2nd place right now. They're about 1.5 seconds behind Hoekstra, who still leads this race.
Yeah, well, he's still done a fantastic job of the lead in that Sam Tech car. Has really started to take charge here ahead of Quentin De Vries, who are battling it out for 2nd now. De Vries, though, really impressive this P2 so far. He's had a great start, and then Quentin goes a little bit wide there. I reckon, well, he's going to be forced down the outside by the looks of it is Sven. But the outside worked for Janej Simic's last race. Can it work for the American this race?
Yeah, he's got a good run as it is. He's on the outside of Quint, but he's actually got the move done before we even get to the chicane. Breaks well into the corner, hits the apexes, and gets on going with it. So up into 2nd goes Sven de Vries now, and he's going to have Hoekstra about 2 seconds ahead of him after losing a little bit more time with that battle there. But can he close the gap? We'll have to wait and see. They were never really near each other for the first race. So I don't know how that's quite going to shake out between the two of them. Quint though is going to have to think about Olsen coming up behind him as well. He's going to try and stick with De Vries, but Olsen's also there, and he's had a good start to this race, and I'm sure Olsen's aware that Simic is close up behind as well.
He must be quite aware that Janej is there and closing in, and the threat of a Simic leading will be very real on that 4 here out of 11, but you know, 3rd of the way through the race and he's not there yet. Whoopie might think he can hold on.
Yeah, he's had a good start. he's got the jump on a few of these guys. That's exactly what he wanted to happen, and it's all kind of gone perfectly for him after losing a position at the start of the race into turn 1. But now he leads, and De Vries hasn't really closed down too much. Quint goes a bit wide in the hairpin, I should say, and Olsen's actually up beside him, and they're going to go side by side through turns 8 and 9. Olsen doesn't have the preferred line, but if he can hold on, there's contact between the two of them, I think there was, and Quint lost it nearly, held on to it, but he's dropped back behind Olsen now, so Olsen up into third place.
Yeah, Tobias through into third. He is through by hook or by crook there, and yeah, there was a bit of contact between Quint and Olsen. Then Quint lost it into the he's lost it into the chicane after that contact. There wasn't anything serious, the contact anyway. He just lost it on his own, also went through, nothing problematic there. And now Tobias is chasing down Sven De Vries, who himself is chasing down Wookie Hoekstra, with Mike Quint and Jenny Simic bearing down on both of them.
Yeah, they really are. Simic is definitely coming quickly. He's now less than 2 seconds behind Quint, who's dropped back from Olsen a little bit after losing that third place. So Olsen's still looking very strong and really threatening De Vries. De Vries has also closed the gap down between himself and Hoekstra. He's gone down to 1.5 seconds as De Vries did a 51 flat on the previous lap. That's a full 0.6 of a second quicker than Hoekstra was. So a good lap by De Vries, and right now it looks like top 5 actually are all pressing together, and I think this is really going to get spicy as we head towards the midpoint of this race.
Yeah, things really starting to heat up here on lap 5, and yeah, approaching that magic midpoint of lap 6 of this race, and at that point we'll really be able to see how it's going to shape up. Simic 3.7 seconds behind Hoekstra, so the lead is not out of his reach at the moment, but he's going to get past 3 cars before he can do that.
Yeah, it's gonna be a difficult one. There's not that many overtaking places, but Simic has already had a good couple of moves into some unorthodox places today, so we'll have to wait and see. But also right now it's looking very racy indeed. He's got onto the back of De Vries for second place. Definitely looking the quicker of the two drivers, nearly pushing De Vries through turn 10 there, and just a little bit loose coming out of turn 10 as well. Through turn 11 and up the hill, I really feel like Olsen's going to have a go now, because he's right on the back of De Vries' car. He's got the slipstream. De Vries is going defensive, now he's not, and Olsen's going to have a look at the inside into the chicane. Brakes late enough, and De Vries has to skip across the chicane. It actually blocked off Olsen there in the end. Olsen tried to carry the momentum, but just had to slam on the brakes to avoid hitting De Vries coming out there and through the final corner. De Vries just about holds on to the position.
Yes, Sven just about holding on to things here, and he'll want to hold on for a little longer against Tobias Olsen, who doesn't look to have the straight line speed required, but he's going to chuck it down the inside of turn 1 quite bravely, but there's not enough room for him to do so, and he can't get it moved because, well, the car just stopped too soon.
Yeah, behind him, Simic dove up the inside of Quint there. It's turn 1, and they're still side by side because Quint got the cutback on him. It's very close between these two, but Simic just about comes out with the position, moves up into 4th place now, so the charge continues for Simic. Up ahead is his old rival from race 1, Olsen. He's closing so quickly as Simic also just had a couple of tricky corners through 5 and 6 there. Definitely Simic looking like the man with the speed at the moment, but whilst all this is going on, Host is just keeping the gap at about 2 seconds up front.
Yeah, the gap's still being maintained at the moment between those two, and trying to look further back to see if there's any interesting things going on. Milan, Chris Kinsman really quite up the order here at P8. Good race from him, and we know he's quite a capable driver. So, you know, do keep an eye on him. P8 at the moment defending from Milan in that Multiforce car, and it's the RTS car defending, of course. And good race so far from Kinsman, but Milan quite the opponent.
Yeah, it's certainly an interesting one. Milan clambering all over them there. Lots of battles all over the place. Again, Olsen right behind De Vries. Doesn't have a go this time into the chicane. I think he's speaking more about turn 1 as a potential overtaking place. He's trying to get as much speed as he can coming through this final corner and down towards turn 1 now. He's got a good run. He's right in the gearbox of De Vries, but De Vries is just putting him away a little bit. Maybe De Vries is running slightly lower wings, but Olsen surely going to have a go into one into T. He looks to the inside, he brakes very, very, very late. Just slides the car, but De Vries had such a good line for the outside of the corner, carried so much speed, he was able to hold on to that second position.
Yeah, second place still De Vries's, but Olsen charging hard. Mind you, as long as these two are battling each other, it's going to give Hoekstra more chance to get that lead gained, and it's going to make it harder for Simičić.
Yeah, the gap is staying pretty much where it is, as De Vries is having to bend a little bit from Olsen here. Olsen all over the back of him, and I think Simičić is going to get more and more impatient behind the two of them as well, as this race continues to tick away, and something's definitely going to happen soon, I feel, because De Vries doesn't quite seem to have the speed that Olsen and Simičić both have, and both of these guys look really, really hungry to get past.
Yeah, I mean, look at Simičić and Olsen. He's looking every single direction. He knows that he's not got much time to get into the lead, and he's going to get past Olsen and De Vries if he wants it. And these two are busy battling each other. Olsen's in the worst position. He's got to battle and defend at the same time.
Yeah, he has to. Well, I guess that's just the predicament that he's in right now as we go back up the hill towards the final chicane. Olsen again, he's actually not that close to De Vries this time, and he's definitely looking in his rear view mirrors. Simičić just poking his nose, brakes really late there. Oh! Wow, just about saves it, jumps across the curves. The car got airborne, but luckily for Simičić, he didn't crash the car, but I think he just took an inside line that he didn't really need to take there in such a case.
Yeah, you can see how desperate he's getting to get through. That's how much he wanted to get to the lead. It didn't work out, unfortunately, for Simičić, although Olsen locks up big time into turn one. That's going to hurt his tyres, and Simičić is going to be getting a chance maybe at Olsen, then into Vries, then maybe Hoekstra, but he's only got 3 laps to do so because we're on lap 8.
Yeah, we haven't got that much time left at all. There's this lap and then 3 more after this, so certainly we're getting to the business end of the race now, and again, it looks like Simičić is going to try and challenge Olsen at some point on this lap, because Olsen's definitely fallen off of De Vries, and there's a bit of contact coming out of turn 6 and then between the two of them, but it looks like Simičić and Olsen just about get away with it into the hairpin. Olsen again locking the brake, just snatching that front right there, but doesn't seem to be affecting him too much, but definitely lose a bit of time when he does that.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting to see how Olsen's little lock-ups there are going to affect him. I mean, it looks to be slowing him down slightly, as flat spots do. They go away with good driving eventually, but I don't see that flat spot, if he does have one, going away before the end of this race. Simičić, really a hard charger right now, giving it everything that he's got to get in front of Tobias, and well, he's going to have probably a look if he can get close enough to the chicane. Remember, he's probably running less wing than Olsen. There is already a 7-kilometre speed differential going into this corner, and he's, the back tries to start out again for Simičić, but he doesn't get it done.
Yeah, definitely having a bit of trouble breaking into that chicane there, and it seems to be a repeat of breaking this one here for Simičić, just struggling to get past Olsen when he's behind him. Definitely Olsen's holding his own and defending well. This time around though, Simičić has got a good run towards turn 1. Is he going to jink out? Oh, look at that. Olsen's actually going to have a look at De Vries. They're that close together. And there's contact between Olsen and De Vries. They bash wheels together, and De Vries is holding his own. It's turn 2 on the inside this time around. Olsen goes a bit wide. That gives Simičić a chance, but Olsen still thinking more about De Vries than Simičić. And it's side by side between Olsen and Simičić. Again, bashing wheels between the two of them, and it looks like everyone's going to come out where they were, but Simičić hasn't given this one up yet. He's still going to try and attack Olsen, but cannot find a way through.
Yeah, Jonas was behind Tobias there, and then he just, actually, I think he went to go across, and then went across up behind Olsen and actually ran into him. He wasn't quite there. Slight misjudgment of the amount of time he had. Mike Quint is caught right up in the middle of all this, between this Olsen-Simičić battle. It's very interesting to see how this is going to turn out.
Yeah, and all four of these guys lost about a second to Hoekstra as well for all of that. So this, again, is working in Hoekstra's hands, and he's just, I think he's just hoping and praying that De Vries can continue to hold these guys off, because that's exactly what is helping him out. As also gets so loose coming through turn 10. Simičić all over the back of them. These guys are pushing so hard right now, are these drivers. They really are going for it, and this is fantastic to watch all 4 or 5 of them battle it out.
Yeah, it's great to see this battle going on at the moment. It's back Simitic down the inside of Olsen into the chicane here, and he runs over in Olsen, and Simitic rounds!
Oh, yeah, Simitic is gone, and he's got the car a little bit stuck there in the middle of the track. He's actually reversed off track, so that's fair play to him. Doesn't want to cause it. He's lost so much time. He's down into 6th, and well, that's it for Simitic. He's no chance of a podium or a race win now. It's all kind of gone out the window, and Olsen has dropped back from De Vries quite a bit as well.
Well, it was slightly, I'll be brutally honest, it was slightly, it wasn't very clever of Olsen to think that Simitic, you hopped the curb, Simitic. You probably should have left more room for him to rejoin the base, but he was right on the inside of the corner. Not the wisest move he's ever made, to be honest. These two have been battling quite hard throughout these races, but not the smartest move in the world from Olsen. But yeah, Simitic just barreled straight at the side of him, then spun around. Olsen seems to come off scot-free, and he's holding 3rd, but Simitic will be incensed he's lost that podium potential.
He certainly will be, and lost a good 15 seconds through that one incident alone. But out front, Hoekstra still leading on lap 10 of 11, so on the penultimate lap of this race. But suddenly, look at that, this gap is down to 1.1 second. De Vries has found a huge amount of time now that he's been kind of relinquished from being attacked from anyone who was behind him. So all of a sudden, we might actually have a battle for the lead in the final lap, as Roy Vassal has just retired our 3rd retirement of the day.
Yep, and Razile out with probably a crash there because it's a suspension, and oh yeah, he had a big impact with the wall, and yeah, it was coming out of turn 6, just hit again, the reverse of what happened last time, whacked the front rear left instead of the rear right, probably suspension damage caused him to retire.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for him. It will retirement for today then. But the leading trio, as it is, are about to start their final lap of the race. We're there already at the final lap. Hoekstra leads by only 7/10 of a second now. That is a huge difference. De Vries took a full second and a tenth, actually 1.1 seconds out of him on that last lap alone. So De Vries is right there. He's hungry for the win. He wasn't really anywhere close to winning in race 1. He finished 5th and didn't look like he quite had the pace, but this time around he's definitely having a good chance of going at Hoekstra right now, because Hoekstra doesn't seem to quite have the speed that De Vries has.
Yeah, he does not seem to have quite the same as De Vries. This is the last lap, remember, so he's not got long to do, and his is going to go for the win.
Yeah, he's got only a couple more opportunities to try and go for it. But the gap continues to close bit by bit. It's now down to half second between these two. Another 2 tenths taken out in that first sector by De Vries. Hoekstra takes a very wide line through that hairpin, and De Vries now going up the hill right behind Hoekstra. And well, I just feel like something's got to happen at that final chicane if De Vries wants to win this one.
Yeah, you're going to have to think it's going to be a final chicane do for Sven De Vries. He goes slightly wide there, but he's going to have a good run to the turn here, and while he goes slightly wide, Sven's not, well, unless he has a serious differential, I don't know how this is going to end up, but he seems to be closing in at some rate, and Wupke's doing 240 as he comes to the board. Sven doing 245, I don't think it's going to be enough, Sam, you know.
I don't think it is either. Vries breaks late, but doesn't quite get close enough. Hoekstra just has to get round this final corner now without incident, but it's a difficult one to take. He comes round the final corner, gets a little bit loose coming out, but he comes across the line to take the checkered flag here in race 2. Hoekstra wins it. De Vries is 2nd, Olsen in 3rd. A great podium there with Quintin 4th as well. And Matt Richards, really good effort by him. He takes 5th place from 18th on the grid. Very good effort, and Simitic rolls home in 6th. I don't think he's too happy about that one. Milan in 7th. Muscat will take 8th place after his incident at the start of the race. Christopher Lichtenstein in 9th, and Rob Mason finished in 10th. He was all the way up in 6th at one point, fell back a little bit, but still very good for him considering where he started in 14th. Stefano, a pole sitter, ends up in 11th. Chris Kinsman in 12th with his race 2 strode to teammate Eric Sanford in 13th, Jacob Pegg in 14th, Brett Metcalf in 15th. Matthew Malik didn't have any practice, finishes in 16th, but gets to the end of the race nonetheless. Gerrit de Vries in 17th, and Rennick Hoekstra, the other Hoekstra, will come round to kind of nicely top this finishing field up by taking 18th place with your 3 retirements of Roy Vassal, Jeffrey Fournier, who was caught up in that first lap incident. He ended up going over and tried to carry on, but had too much suspension damage. And Joe Watts didn't take the grid after suffering some connectivity issues. But all in all, fascinating and fiercely exciting race there, Josh. A very good one once again in terms of battling.
Yeah, fantastic race in terms of battling, and yeah, well done to all the podium sitters and points finishers. You know, it was a great race overall.
Yeah, it really was. And well, the standout for me was all that battling over second place, which De Vries actually ended up coming out in second in the end. I don't quite know how he did it. He had quite a few drivers. He looked a bit quicker than him, all over the back of him, and Hoekstra as well. Didn't have too much to contend with right up until that final lap, but he did everything right in that race. He just kept the it all clean, kept the car on the road. He could have easily spun off or anything like that, but just didn't make any major mistakes and did just about enough to hold on. It'd be interesting to see if we had another lap whether De Vries could have had a go at him or not. But that middle sector by Hoekstra was vital on that final lap because that just meant that De Vries couldn't challenge him into that final chicane, which was really the only time that he was going to be threatened for the race win.
Yeah, it never occurred that the challenge happened, and well, it was a very, very sort of I had a goal moment from Sven, and he did a good job, but ultimately didn't quite come ahead for him, and well, that's why he was ultimately second in that race.
Yeah, ultimately he couldn't take the win, but now we're going to have a few interviews, and this is always good fun. So I hope the 3 drivers that are going to here today are ready to speak. I think, well, we couldn't really start off with anyone else, could we? I think it's going to be best to start with the guy who finally got his win in race 1 after being denied on so many occasions. Jene Simoncic, congratulations today. What a race, what a great race 1 you had.
Yeah, thanks. I can't believe nothing happened to me. Nothing bad happened to me. Incredible. So,
Yes. I was trying not to jinx it. Sorry, I was trying not to jinx it in that race 1. I was just trying not to say anything just in case something did happen. But we know all the bad luck that you've had. How was it for you in that race?
yeah, I got a little bit asleep in the first lap, and that allowed Tobias to make a great pass around the outside. And then I tried everything to get the lead back, and after so many attempts, I finally made it in the chicane. It was quite a scary moment, but I emerged in P1, and yeah, that was it for the race. Yeah.
Yeah, really good effort, and such good to see you finally take that top step in race 1. But race 2 was a little bit of a different story, wasn't it? You had to come from 10th place, and again, also seemed to be your arch rival there.
Yeah, I knew it would be really difficult to get in front, and then I have no idea what happened on the lap 1. I got a hit from the side. I saw cars spinning, and then just tried to keep the car going and tried to close in. And yeah, but in the end, Tobias was in Sven's slipstream, and yeah, just ran out of time. I did quite bad dive bomb into the chicane and jumped over the curbs and stalled the car, and fortunately we can start the engine again so I could at least finish.
Yeah, really unfortunate there. But just looking, just looking a little bit ahead, and also reflecting on the past. Now we've actually got to the halfway stage in the season. So I'm just wondering, you know, I know you've had a bit of bad luck, but you've also been a bit of a beast in qualifying as well. How would you rate your first half of the season?
Well, for me, the most important thing is that I really had a lot of fun, some really great battles every race, even if, well, bad stuff happened to me. And, well, I would call it successful anyway, despite all the lost possibilities.
Great stuff, and congratulations once again, Yone, and hopefully we'll be seeing you in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so we'll move now, and I think, well, after speaking to the winner of race 1, it's quite fitting that we speak to the winner of race 2. So Wupke Hoekstra is, of course, the man who took the checkered flag before anyone else in race 2. And Wupke, it was a difficult race 1 for you, certainly a few dramas, but race 2, it all seemed to just unravel perfectly.
Yeah, race 1 was quite alright. I didn't have the pace I was hoping for, but I was doing well in P4, but then the pit stops came, and I don't know what's wrong, but I always seem to mess up my pit stops in WCS and also elsewhere, because this is the third time I lost a lot of time in the pit lane. This time I didn't see my pit box, and it's something that I've been noticing in R Factor 2 in general, is that sometimes I can barely see my pit box and I miss it. So I lost about 30 seconds, finished 9th, but that gave me a good position for the second race. And like in France, where I also took the race 2, I knew I had to get a good gap for the other guys, like Urinate, Tobias, and Sven. I knew I had to get a gap to them before they got past everyone. I tried, yeah, I didn't get the gap I wanted, but in the end, due to a bit of luck, I guess it was enough.
Yeah, it was interesting stuff. Did you feel that you were under threat in race 2, or were you just kind of keeping your head down and focusing on your own race?
I wasn't really well, not really in the race. With my head, my mind wasn't focused completely. That might be a bit of a problem, but it was all right. I did feel some pressure from Sven, of course, who was behind me, and I knew he was quicker than me, so I knew he would catch up. But then he got the screen freeze, and then he lost a second, and I knew that the gap would be enough. And yeah, then I just pushed for the final few laps, and it was enough.
Great stuff. So I'll ask you a similar question to what I asked you, Ane. How would you rate your first half of the season, and also looking ahead? You're fairly close to Sven in the championship as well. What do you rate your chances in the championship in the second half of the season?
Honestly, I did not expect to be this far up in the standings at all. I barely practice for the races, but I also hear that other people barely practice as well, so that may help as well. But yeah, so far it's been a good one. I finished every race in the top 10, and I got 2 wins, which is 2 more than I was hoping for. So yeah, so far so good. And if I can get another 2 wins and keep finishing in the top 10, that would be amazing. But yeah, anyways, it's been a good season so far.
Good stuff, and all the best for the second half of the season to come. And once again, congratulations. That was a really professional driving race too.
Thank you.
Right then, so we've got our third and final interviewee of the day, and it's the returning Sven de Vries after missing around last time out. He's back, and he well solidified your championship position with your results today, Sven.
Yeah, not too bad. I rushed home from work and get any practice in, so qualifying were my first few laps. Only put me about from the grid. Knew I had quite a bit of work to do, and I was far off of Jurne and Tobias in the lap times they were turning. So I figured race 1 would just try to get as high up as I could, and ended up with 5th, I believe. I lost some time in the pits. Other than that, I had quite a few nice battles. So I really enjoyed that. As for race 2, quickly found myself in second place, and I knew I was a little bit quicker than Wopke, and I also noticed that Bias and especially Yerne were flying out there and were on my back very quick. But I knew my only chance to have a shot at that race was to keep them behind me and try to get past Wopke first, because I knew if they got me first, there's no way I was going to ever get in front of them again. Managed to find a little bit of pace, defend them off, then got the screen freeze. Luckily, no crash. Stayed in front of them and finished the race in second. So pleased with that.
Yeah, good stuff. And it was an interesting one today, Sven, because I noticed you seem to not really have any. I don't know. You didn't seem to really do too much in the second half of the first race, but you certainly came alive in that second race. It looked a bit like I don't know. A couple of times you were struggling a bit with pace out there.
Yeah, I didn't really have a good feeling around this track. So some laps felt really good, and I was putting in some good lines, and then other laps I was just messing up. And had a long day at work, so I wasn't really there with my head. But hopefully better next round.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, question for you. Of course, you're our championship leader at the moment, so you must be pretty satisfied with what you've done so far. But how would you rate what you've done and what you looking forward to for the rest of the season?
I think it's a little mixed. Obviously, I'm happy to be in first. I think there's a few different things to it. I had a little bit of luck. I had a few races where I was and good thinking in some other races. I'm not always the quickest, but I feel like if I'm not the quickest, I have to be the smartest. And so far, that has brought me some good results. I mean, I usually don't retire, and I get in some good result consistently. So I think that's why I'm at the top. But seeing Journey's speed, if he doesn't have any bad luck, it's going to be a close one. And I think Wopke will be there too. Same for Tobias and Jason probably, and Boria and Lars and. There's just so many people that can win, and to be standing at the top of the list ahead of all these superb drivers is awesome. It's by far the best grid I've ever been on. So yeah, it does me well to be ahead.
Yeah, it's certainly been very exciting, and I have to admit that the grid has been a good one. I've noticed how close it's been at times this season. And I've certainly have to agree with you there that it's a very competitive field, and hopefully we'll keep up with a lot of the drivers in the second half of the season as well. So thank you for coming along today, Sven.
Thank you.
Right then, so that's it for another round of Formula Threes. But of course, it all continues on, and we're not going to be going anywhere. As next time out, we're going actually back to America to Barber Motorsports Park in a couple of weeks' time. That's an interesting track indeed. It's a bit of a different one, one that the Indy cars use, and much more wide, fast-flowing corners and lots of undulation changes as well. So it's going to be a real challenge for the drivers out here. Mike was a bit of a shock to someone. We might actually see a bit of a mix-up as well in terms of the grid. So definitely check that out in a couple of weeks' time. But if you can't wait that long, we've also got some BMW action as well with Sandport coming up this time next week at the same time as well. And again, Sandport is a personal favourite track of mine. Very difficult at times, very tight also. Well, with the action that we've seen with the tin tops last time out at Bathurst as well, it's certainly not one to be missed. It's going to be thoroughly exciting and lots of action with three short, nice sprint, action-packed races. So hopefully you can join us for that. For now, though, I think that's just about it. Josh, do you have anything to add if you'd like to wrap stuff up?
Yeah, fantastic racing from everyone involved. It was a really, really enthralling race here at the Nurburgring today, and I really enjoyed watching it and commentating on it. And on the next one in 2 weeks' time.
Excellent stuff. Certainly bring it on. So that's all from me tonight. I'd like to say thanks again, Josh, for coming along and doing the commentary. It's been a pleasure to be in the box with you once again. And of course, who could forget Argo Teder, our cameraman extraordinaire, who does a fantastic job all the time for these F3 broadcasts, and you're sorely missed as well when the BMWs come along as well. But a great job, Argo, and great job by all. And well, I hope you guys enjoyed it at home. I hope you guys can join us again in a week's time, and then 2 weeks for Barber Motorsports Park as well for the F3s. But from all of us now, that's it, and good night. Bye.